over their lifetime just in the welfare benefits alone, not counting where they end up. And we've calculated that.
Variety of questions here. I'd like to ask Ms. Vaughn a question as far as public benefits for people who are coming here illegally. I know they're not supposed to get public benefits, but could you comment on that as far as what impact that's having on our society?
Well, it's true that theoretically illegal immigrants are not entitled to certain benefits, but the reality is that many states actually use some of the federal Medicaid funding, for example, or their own funds, taxpayer funds, to provide all manner of benefits, whether it's Medicaid or cash assistance programs or housing and so on. And it's an enormous cost to taxpayers that exceeds any taxes, local taxes, sales taxes, or any other kind of revenue that comes back to the government. The largest expenses that we've found through our research are Medicaid for the U.S.-born children of illegal immigrants and public schools, the education, especially with this recent migrant crisis where so many of the people coming here illegally are bringing families with them because that's like a deportation shield. And that is a strain on the communities where they end up. And we've calculated that on average an illegal alien will cost $68,000 over their lifetime just in the welfare benefits alone, not counting other costs to society. And that's an average figure, but that puts the cost of just this border crisis and the recently arrived illegal aliens at hundreds of billions of dollars.
Okay. Either Mr. O'Brien or Ms. Vaughn, whoever wants to answer this question. I always kind of wonder what happens if people come here illegally and commit a crime. You know, people talk about law-abiding, da-da-da. If you commit a crime, and I'd like you maybe to compare the Biden administration to the Trump administration, to the Obama administration or Clinton administration, what happens to you if you commit a crime, and how does this compare to, like I said, if you'd committed that crime 6 years ago?
Let me take the first part. Mr. Grothman, as to the first part of your question, if you have committed one of a wide variety of crimes which are set forth in the Immigration and Nationality Act, the way the law is written, you're supposed to be placed into removal proceedings and get a hearing. Unfortunately, I think over time, the hearings have been analogized to a criminal proceeding, but they're not. They're very similar to a driver's license revocation proceeding. So if you have been convicted by an Article III court of law, the crime stands on its own, and what you get, we call them a notice to appear now, but you get an order to show cause, essentially to show why you shouldn't be removed from the United States. And those crimes can range from things that are classified under the INA as aggravated felonies, which are set forth in 101A43A of the Immigration and Nationality Act, to things that are classified as crimes involving moral turpitude. So everything from shoplifting to murder can potentially get you deported. There are some crimes that are considered lower level enough that they would not, and if you've committed certain low-level crimes, you can apply for relief from removal. But anything that is classified under the INA as an aggravated felony crime is supposed to result in your removal from the U.S. and then you being barred from returning for a certain number of years.
Has the rigor at which we enforce these rules, is this changed between the Trump or even Obama administrations and President Biden?
Yeah, it's changed significantly. There seems to be significantly less willingness under this administration to use the administrative and expedited removal procedures, wherein if people have been removed from the United States after committing a crime and find themselves back here, they can actually be removed without a hearing. I also found that when I was an immigration judge, I later tried to determine how many of the people that I had ordered removed, that their removal had actually been effectuated from the United States, which was something that was fairly easy to do under prior administrations, but I could not substantiate that a single individual that I had entered an order of removal against had actually been removed by this administration.
That's shocking. Could you give me examples of crimes where you think they've been removed under Trump but are not removed now? Type of things, crimes you'd commit?
They ranged from everything from simple shoplifting to more serious things like drug trafficking and murder. I can say definitively under the Trump administration there was an effort to prioritize the serious violent crimes for removal. Sometimes it's not always possible to easily remove someone if their country of citizenship doesn't wish to issue them a travel document or for whatever reason doesn't wish to take them. But the effort was made regardless, and in most cases it was successful. Under this administration, I don't think that the effort is even being made.
Okay. Eventually, I'd like to maybe give us something in writing following up on that sort of thing.
Certainly.
A question as far as public benefits. Talk about law-abiding, da-da-da. If you commit a crime, and I'd like you maybe to compare.
Enormous cost to taxpayers that exceeds Medicaid or cash assistance program, Medicaid funding, for example, or their own funds, taxpayer funds.